ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live Recap. Woo! It's been a week and a half. It feels like it's been forever.
It feels like it's been forever, right?
So much has happened. And, I hate to start on a sad note, but we would be remiss not to mention the passing of Mean Gene Okerlund, who passed away this morning as we're hearing it, 76 years old. I don't know. Oh, I'm John Rocha, by the way. I'm the host of the show, and that's the CEO of Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin. Ryan, do you know anything more about this?
I don't believe there has been anything additional that's released by the company. The vibe that I get is that WWE was well aware of what was going on. It sounds to me like I don't know this. This is just me kind of putting pieces together from working at TMZ and seeing some of the things that I've heard. It seems to me like he wasn't. Like, it doesn't sound to me like there was a rush to the hospital. To me, it sounds like he was in the something happened. He was in the hospital.
Okay.
And, like he maybe got sick or something, but not like where he fell down at home or something. Right. Like you'll hear with some kind of elderly people. It sounds to me, and I don't know this, but just from what I'm hearing, because it doesn't sound like there was a 911 call, because I feel like if there was a 911 call, TMZ or The Blast or one of those kind of sites would have already put something up on it. To me, it sounds like he went to the hospital and probably passed, surrounded by family and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to figure out. I'm still trying to reach out to family, see if they want to release anything official on it. But yeah, it's very sad. It does sound like it was this morning. It does sound like WWE was aware of the situation ahead of time, because they're the ones who made the announcement on behalf of the Okerlund family that he had passed, which isn't usually the norm. But I think that's why in my opinion, it feels like probably he'd been in the hospital for a minute, and WWE was aware that he was going to pass, and we're just waiting for word from the family that it was okay to get the word out for them. That's how it feels to me, because if it had been something sudden, you would have heard about 911 calls and that kind of stuff, and it doesn't seem like that's what's going on here. But one thing that is very clear since his passing is the amount of not only his legacy in the industry, but just how beloved he was amongst his peers. I mean, you can always tell just how influential someone was in the business or well-liked, sadly, via social media when they pass. And you just there's been I can't even keep track of the outpour of support that tributes and things along those lines that we've seen. I mean, everyone, people that are on the roster right now saying that he influenced them, to people behind the scenes saying that he influenced them, or some of the people, like a Jeremy Borash, I saw him say, I didn't want to be a wrestler growing up, I wanted to be Mean Gene. Hulk Hogan tweeted about him, Ric Flair tweeted about him, everybody, obviously those ones are going to tweet about him, but it's just like, that's all such positive things you hear about him. So, rest in peace to Mean Gene for sure. Yeah, I mean, he is growing up through the 80s, he was the guy. He was everything, and he was very funny. And if you were a wrestler with any promo ability at all, you would be elevated by working with Gene. And if you had no promo ability at all, Gene would at least get something out of you. And he was really great at that. And that's rare to find in the professional wrestling world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Gordon Sully was great for Georgia Championship Wrestling, but then you look at but he wasn't doing the backstage interviews. Right, exactly. Mean Gene kind of revolutionized that. And of course, credit to, I don't know who came up with that, if it was Vince or Gene, but either way, it was a perfect marriage at the right time. Well, he was doing it in AWA before WWF, if I recall. Yeah, he was doing the AWA. And then he came to WWF, in '84, I think I wrote today when I was looking it up. But he, it's as a guy who was an Attitude Era guy, I feel like you could say the '90s too, like not just the '80s, because I was I loved WCW when I was growing up. 80s is where they laid the foundation. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm saying he's essential to that. Yeah, no, but I was just gonna say he even carried that on in the '90s for someone like me, where Mean Gene was pivotal in WCW too after he left WWF, and so I also grew up with Mean Gene. I think it's not often where someone like where multiple generations will grow up with someone like that, but I mean, like Mean Gene for me was also I loved watching him in WCW. Right, and he's the only commentator to get into these reality shows that WWE did or any of those other things. Gene was always the guy they went to. He was still to the end, still doing broadcasts with them. I think I'm gonna write it up as soon as I get out of here. But someone shared a video where I guess he still hosted a show that was broadcast internationally for WWE called Vintage Classics, I believe is what it's called, and him and Charlie Caruso were the hosts of it, and like that was just a few weeks ago, I believe, their last broadcast, and so it's Mean Gene was definitely a unique presence in wrestling. I mean, also, being a wrestling news guy, the hotlines were I never called them, but it was something like I always wanted to call. You know,
of course.
It was something the hotline is something I'll never forget. It's funny, as a kid of the '90s, you don't see 900 numbers ever anymore. Like 900 numbers are a thing of the past,
right?
And it's weird because like that's gonna be my 8-track, I think, when I'm older. It's like number 900 numbers because that's like not a thing anymore.
Or pagers.
Yeah.
Well,
but just calling into anything like party lines, all that kind of stuff. No one does that shit anymore.
But I think that's the greatest thing about Mean Gene is like, and I know we have to move on to talk about it, but like this is the thing.
We have extra time today, actually.
Okay.
We don't have to use it, but we have it.
But I love that he is able to, he was like, when you were imitating the wrestlers, you were imitating Hogan or imitating Flair, imitating anybody when you were growing up into professional wrestling, when they were laying the groundwork for this thing that we have now. You were imitating Mean Gene as well. We're coming to you live. Look at it. And you were doing all this kind of things. And who's the promo? Who is running the promo for the greatest face turn into heel ever? Hogan to going heel. It is Mean Gene, and he rolls with Hogan so well. I think Hogan is not Hogan without Mean Gene. There's no way. There are so many people that are integral to a success of a superstar like Hogan. Certainly, Mean Gene's promos with him, being able to roll with him, improv with him, play off of him. Of course, they talked about some of the stuff ahead of time, but these guys, or Warrior with his craziness, or
Macho Man.
Macho Savage.
I was going to say the same thing with Macho Man.
Savage and the Mean Gene promos are just brilliant, and his ability to be at once promotional and offended, but also and then respectful of this, like his ability to flow within the promos, which is untouchable. No one's ever done it since, in my opinion. I don't think anyone will ever do it as well as he did.
Well,
again,
it's really not easy to balance fun with informative, while also maintaining like a level of respect, demanding respect with what you're broadcasting out there and stuff. And Mean Gene is the king of that. King of that. I think everyone kind of wishes they could be a broadcaster like that.
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be deeply missed by a lot of people in the professional wrestling community, a lot of people outside the professional wrestling community as well, as Ryan pointed out earlier.
I didn't know. I tweeted this right before we came in here.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Mean Gene was the lead singer of a band in the 50s. You knew that?
Oh, yeah.
You knew that,
all
really?
those weird guys, all these guys did all this stuff before. Like Jimmy Hart as well. Jimmy Hart was in one of those bands that had a hit.
Yeah, but I didn't know that he actually had like a good voice where like, you'd like listen to this, is pretty good.
We're all young at some point, Ryan.
Can you hear that? That's Mean Gene.
That's awesome.
That's like good 50s like stuff right there. I like it. I'm trying to curse less in the new year here.
Hey.
So
I'm just saying, we're all young once, Ryan.
No, totally. I was just like, it's funny too. On the cover of the album it says Gene Carroll and the Shades, I think was the name of the band. But then like it has his picture, which he does not look. He looks so different without the whole Mean Gene look.
Right,
like you don't recognize him. I'm like, I literally like was like, are you sure? Like I had to like zoom in. I'm like, I don't know if that's him, but Rolling Stone says it's him.
Yeah.
And then on the album cover, so it says Gene Carroll and the Shades, and then on the bottom it says AKA Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like I didn't know the Mean Gene thing. Like you said, you think it's like, it started with 1984, but it didn't. Like a lot of these things were all happening before, and like he was doing the interviews at AWA, but the Mean Gene name, it's crazy that wasn't because it was his wrestling name.
Yeah.
He had Mean Gene before wrestling. He was in music. Like, I thought that was a trip. I didn't know that.
Well, it's always fun to go back and look at the background of all these guys, all these people who established the business now. All right, anyway, let's jump into SmackDown Live. We haven't done a couple recaps in a week or so, and so let's jump into this. We're going to start with SmackDown Live here with all this coming out.
And some of these things might trigger stuff that we haven't been able to talk about in these few weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here.
Well, it comes out, New Day comes out with, well, first we're teased that John Cena is coming back.
Returning to SmackDown for 1 week.
Yeah, with that hair. Oh, my God. Anyway, so then they come back. New Day comes in, and of course, Big E wearing the New Year's Eve, New Year's baby diaper and everything like that, talking about pancakes, and they set everything up, and then, of course, Joe and Hardy come in and have their match, and Joe ends up submitting Jeff Hardy. Did you like this? Was there a point to this at all? Was this reintroducing people into the Joe situation, or what do you think this was?
I'll split them up. We'll start with the New Day thing. The New Day thing obviously made me laugh.
It's a lot of fun.
It was great. I loved him doing Biggie doing the Steiner math thing, where he was at. I liked him in the Steiner math, and them stopping him and calling out Steiner math, which isn't even really. It's not a WWE thing.
No,
Steiner math. That's an Impact thing.
I can't believe they threw it in there.
I was kind of surprised they threw it in there too, especially since Scott Steiner's kind of persona non grata in WWE.
Right.
Like he talks a lot of shit about WWE, and he was like not allowed, at the Hall of Fame or whatever because of Hulk Hogan and all that kind of stuff. So I was a little surprised to see them bust out, but it made me laugh, so I loved it. I also liked them kind of like listing off the plot of movies and that weren't actually what they were going to be doing as plot of movies. I also like Kofi venting about how he's never gotten a championship opportunity.
Is this laying groundwork?
I hope in 2019 that they stop treating New Day as a tag team. Like, they need to have these guys branch out as singles guys. Yeah. They're so popular. Like, there's no reason why they three separately can't. They can still come back and be a tag team every once in a while. Like, so many stables of all time have done that. But like, they should put. No offense to Kobe, but I think it should be Big E. But like, they should put one of them, or both, but one of them at least in the main event scene going forward in 2019. Yeah,
because Kofi said IC opportunities and U.S. heavyweight opportunities, no problem. Did you watch their New Year's Eve recap show?
I watched some of it.
Oh man, it was fun and also a bit of a chore to get through because some of those jokes were a little weird. Becky Lynch coming in was funny.
Yeah,
but there was some other stuff. You're like, oh, man, these guys are like, if I was really high, I'd be loving this show.
Well, so I was, and because it was holiday, and it was, I liked it. It made me laugh.
There you go.
It made me laugh. The part when they were kind of like, it was still the green screen, and they were like, what's going on? When everything kind of popped in, I loved it. The Becky Lynch thing was great.
It was hilarious.
The Becky Lynch thing when she was yelling down at them, and they were like, oh. But yes, when I was watching that, I was like, man, this is one of the most stoner things that the New Day has ever done. Like, every ounce of it was like, dude, this is some hardcore stoner stuff right here. I liked it. Yeah. I was into it.
I would like to find out who proposed this in the WWE to the creative and who said, "Oh, sure, why not?"
So as a whole, I liked this segment.
Okay.
I liked that it kind of got us back on track as well with the Royal Rumble. I think that it was kind of like, hey, the holidays are over. We're talking about the Royal Rumble now. Yep. We are now heading to the Royal Rumble. It's
not on the road to WrestleMania.
It's not the road to WrestleMania.
I'm just saying we're heading towards the road to WrestleMania.
We're heading towards that
People
road.
are packing up and getting their cars.
Yeah,
they're getting
their car ready. They're getting an oil change before they start
like
driving.
Like your dad used to do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're getting everything ready. But from what I've learned in Wrestling Sheet Radio, we are not on the road to WrestleMania yet. Jamie and Kevin and Eli are very adamant against me about this when I say it. So I'm glad we are on the same page here because this technically is on the road.
For God's sakes, we turned the calendar. We're all going there. You know.
But yeah, so I like that it kind of like gets us back on track to the Royal Rumble. It was like, okay, we're talking about Royal Rumble. We're, people are announcing their intentions, even if it was still kind of a holiday episode since it was New Year's Day. I feel like New Year's Day isn't really a holiday. Like, yeah, we all have work off and stuff, but like no one's really like New Year's Day. You don't have to go like do things with people. Like most holidays, like you're like for the Christmas and Christmas Eve episodes, like it was hard to watch.
Right,
we watched them a few days later.
Right.
Same for New Year's Eve. Even you like watched maybe watch it New Year's Day.
I did. Yeah.
Me too. But New Year's Day, you're like, okay, we're back.
Right.
We're back in the schedule. Everyone's going to work tomorrow. Everyone's back at home.
Yeah.
If you watch these things regularly, like you're back. So I thought it was good in terms of getting that back on track. I am starting to get over Joe versus Jeff, though. I think that I understand that it's maybe hasn't run its course yet.
And you're a Jeff Hardy guy. So
and I'm a Jeff Hardy guy. I just think that like I can only see guys wrestle so many times against each other without there being new stakes added or new consequences or a new motivation behind one person wanting to beat up the other guy. But when they're kind of just both thrown out there into a random SmackDown match, I don't think it excites me as much, And so I did, especially, I did find myself tuning out a little bit from this match, and which sucks because I was excited to kind of like get back into wrestling, watching regular, when it's on, Although I will say at the same time, yesterday while watching this, I had to rewatch a lot of it today because my attention was very focused on All Elite Wrestling yesterday.
You were tweeting about it all day. AEW is happening, boys.
I mean, it's a big announcement.
It is.
I feel like the son of Dusty Rhodes partnering with a billionaire and partnering with the Young Bucks who are involved, who together are part of the most over group that's been outside of WWE in ages. All those guys partnering with a billionaire is like a huge, huge deal to me, at least in my opinion, especially because
I think it's good. Yeah, it's a big deal.
I just think that, yes, there have been companies in the past that have come up or whatever, but I think I feel like with ROH and Sinclair, for example, to me it feels like Sinclair bought Ring of Honor because it was like a content play. Like it's like, well, content is king right now. Wrestling show good in the portfolio year round, all that kind of stuff. To me, it never felt like, it hasn't felt like to me they're passionate about it. Like, and you can't say that you don't think that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks aren't passionate about pro wrestling. Like these guys they were able to do big things outside of Ring of Honor, even though they were there. Like they were able to, just with their selling ability as marketers, they were able to sell out All In very fast. And to me, like that says a lot. And the show, had a lot of expectations behind it. And there were maybe like the main event going short messed with some of that, but at the end of the day, they put on an incredibly entertaining event, probably one of the best events of the year, something that wrestling fans felt like was for them, and I think that's super important. Like I hate when I feel like what I'm watching isn't for me, because I am your target audience. Yeah. So I think that having someone like Tony Khan involved, who has loved wrestling his entire life, is not just like, hey, what can I do to make money? He's already a billionaire. It's not like, and granted, it's his dad who's a billionaire, right? But like he's a billionaire. Like, and I just think that like, to me, he's already successful. Yeah. Like Dixie Carter was trying to do a new successful thing when she did Impact. Like she had worked in the country music industry and she was trying to find something new. But she was never like a huge wrestling fan prior to Impact Wrestling. And that's why she went and found people who were big on wrestling. But I just think that I think that a lot of time in Impact Wrestling, who did have billionaire backing, they never had people who wanted to be different than WWE. It was always like people who wanted to be WWE. Right. And I don't think that this group wants to be WWE. It's also not a lot of yes men. Yeah. Like the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, like those guys aren't yes men. We know that about them. Yeah. Jim Ross and Jericho, like if they're going to be involved in any way, those guys aren't yes men. Like they do their thing. Jim Ross been all over the place when it comes to wrestling, and so I think it's like a huge, huge, huge story. Like I think people they didn't think the initial announcement of All In was as big of a deal as it was. Right. And now those same people are thinking that this All Elite Wrestling thing isn't as big of a deal as it is. And I just think that it's going to be. I mean, they're offering people, reportedly offering people multi-year contracts that are making WWE have to raise how much they're offering people. And I mean, like that's great for everyone all around. Competition is always good. Competition motivates. I mean, WWE, their best times are when they're pushed by another company or another entity to get better with their product and get better creatively with their product as well. So that's exciting. And there's a rally scheduled for next week for All Elite Wrestling, and it's taking place in this walking distance from SmackDown. Oh wow! And I don't know. I feel like they're gonna make some big announcements. Yeah. Like I feel like we're gunning for a battle. Like I think, are they coming on tanks? Like that'd be so cool. If they're like, oh, you didn't like our invasion before? Now we got a billionaire behind us for the invasion. Sue us now. We got a whole legal team behind us. Send the cease and desist now. See what happens. I don't know why. Yeah. I feel like we're 2019, we're heading towards a battle. I mean, if you look at the All Elite Wrestling Twitter page, all the people they follow are big arenas that WWE goes into. Like, that's a huge deal. Like, there's not another big wrestling organization that's throwing arena shows. Right. And there's three things here, right? This is the time to strike after the All In pay-per-view.
This is the time to strike when people are so against Raw, so much so that the McMahons come back on TV and admit that they don't have good product and it sucks and they have to do better. And this is the time that strike as well because people now are more focused than ever on the indie circuits with Impact, with Ring of Honor, with NJPW, and then also NXT to a degree. The UK and NXT UK. There's a lot of wrestlers out there, and someone tweeted, I don't know who it was, and maybe you retweeted it. Said, if your contract is up in the next 6 months, you're in a really good position right now to slide into a situation with All Elite Wrestling.
I've talked to people who are like, my contract's up soon. Yeah. You know, like I got my eyes open. Yeah. You know, like I would love to, you know, move up, make more money, you know. So I mean, like that's happening. That's a real thing for sure, and that's great for wrestling. Like you said, WWF is always WWE, WWF, whatever. They've always been their best when they've had their back against the wall, and that's also when wrestling becomes its most popular.
Exactly.
So like I've been confused seeing people like poo-poo the notion of this group already, and I get it. We've all been hurt before as wrestling fans. We've all gotten our hopes up, but I just think like the pedigree that's getting involved in this is very impressive in my opinion, and like I just think that like, dude, they're gonna get a TV show. Like, there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way that they've been doing all of this behind the scenes under the guise of not knowing that they're gonna have a TV. Of course, they're gonna have a TV deal. Like, of course. Like, I wish I could see some of the responses I've gotten from sources when I dig a little on it. Like, of course it's gonna happen. Like, I don't know where. I don't know when. Obviously, they've talked to networks. They can't say a lot because they've only been under contract technically. They've only not been under contract technically for a day, and then they re-signed instantly with Tony Khan and All Elite Wrestling. Right. So huge story to me, and so I'm very, very excited about that. So I will admit, while watching Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe, it did take my attention a little bit. So I'm not going to necessarily critique all the intricacies of the match, but I will say. I thought the end looked. I liked the finish.
Yeah. It's fine. It's logical. Jeff doesn't lose face. No, he didn't tap out. No. He just was choked out.
Yeah, he just choked out. I mean, like Joe's a big badass dude.
Yeah. And Jeff gave as good as he got until the end. So yeah.
I will say though that and granted, I know that just like not every regular everyone who views Raw and SmackDown regularly has been watching Raw and SmackDown during the holidays when they normally would. But I still think it's silly to like point out, since you brought it up a minute ago, like to point out how shitty Raw and SmackDown have been, how bad Raw and SmackDown have been. I'm trying not to cuss as much on here for the clips wise. But it's how bad Raw and SmackDown have been, and then really not changed much. You got like campy, Christmas episode, and so I thought that was weird, but and then to start off, we're like, okay, fine, that was holiday episode. Yeah. But granted, this is a pre-tape, but still, we come back and it's like, well, it's another match we've seen a few times already now. Like,
I'm giving them till February.
That's
my mental.
Okay,
in February.
If there's been no changes whatsoever by February,
right? Because all these people who supposedly know better than us were on Twitter going, they need some time. They need some time. Okay, February.
Wait it out. Let it play out.
8 weeks is more than enough time to turn your product around, for God's sake.
So from now to February 1st?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I'm on the road to WrestleMania, God damn it. And we're about to get into it. Royal Rumble will be that first thing. So if you're going to slide into Royal Rumble with the same old tired storylines, then how the hell are you going to fix this thing rolling into WrestleMania? It makes no sense. So you've got to establish everything through the pay-per-views leading up to WrestleMania.
Okay, so wait.
And no, you don't have to end these feuds. You don't have to wrap up these feuds. No one's going, you know what? I need you to wrap up this feud comfortably so I can move on to the next one. Get out of here. Wrestling fans are so used to non-closure in feuds all the time due to injuries or issues happening between a wrestler and management, any number of things. So, Can I text the group chat, the Wrestling Sheet Radio group chat, and say, Rocha agrees that the road to WrestleMania technically begins before the Royal Rumble? Yes. Tell them the road to WrestleMania begins as soon as the calendar year turns into the new year. They can be mad all they want. Once the new year begins, we're on the road to WrestleMania. I'm glad to have that. I'm sorry to text while talking on the show, but that's an important one because both of you listen to Wrestling Sheet Radio know they've gotten real hard on me about that one. That's right. Actually, a lot of you probably watching have done the same thing. I got beat up on Twitter over this one before. Did you really? In the past, yeah.
I love it.
Bring it.
Everyone was like, "No, Road to WrestleMania is after the Rumble. You don't start the road until after the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, well, technically, we're on the road to WrestleMania now because we're building to the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble is a huge part of WrestleMania.
Listen, if you're on the road to something, you don't start out at the top place as soon as you start on your trip. You build up to that place you're getting to as you're going through where you're going on the road. I mean, I don't walk.
So we're on the journey to WrestleMania, but not WrestleMania Road, basically.
I mean, that just makes no sense. I'm not getting in the car and the target is 5 seconds away. The target is 10 minutes away, and then I've got to do other errands before I get to the big thing, at the end of the trip. And so to me, the road to WrestleMania starts as soon as the calendar year turns because everything leads to Royal Rumble. All the storylines are leading to Royal Rumble. So,
which in theory is where the road to WrestleMania begins. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, Rocha. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's move on. Rusev Day celebrating, Rusev Day celebrating winning the title, the U.S. title there. Him and Lana come out. Lana in a beautiful red dress, looking really cool. Rusev taking center stage in this situation right now. But then Nakamura comes out, ruins it. Lana gets involved, and then Rusev takes out Nakamura, but not without injuring Lana. So this is an interesting thing. I mean, we had Lana issues with Aiden English. Now we might have Lana issues with Nakamura. I'm glad that Nakamura is now the hunter. This is where he's better.
Yes.
This is where he's used best.
Agreed.
So, and especially against a big beast like Rusev, this is going to be fun. And Nakamura on Twitter, if you're not following Nakamura on Twitter, that's a fun follow. That picture of his dog as the last picture of 2018 was hilarious, or whatever painting.
I saw that.
Oh, that painting from 2018. That was a weird painting. But Nakamura,
he has weird tweets for sure.
And so many people defend him online, too. It's really interesting how he's getting some crap, and he's like, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm happy doing what I'm doing. So if you don't follow him on Twitter, you better.
That is cool painting.
Yeah, look at that weird painting of that dog.
That is cool painting.
But anyway, so what do you think about all this?
First I like the Rusev promo.
Yeah, that was a good promo.
Rusev is getting so good at. He knows what the audience wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has gotten to that level of promo work where it's almost like the Miz, but in a different way, obviously. But like where he knows what's gonna get people to react. And the fact that he's doing it in a positive way now, where I like that he's just like mentioning really American things, like when he was mentioning Taco Bell, and what did he say this week? He said something during his promo this week about some kind of food reference, and I like that he's just referencing food to get over, like comparing himself to different kinds of food, and like, and then he was doing the whole like Rusev Day, America, like he was like the fact that he's. This formerly foreign heel duo is now chanting for America, and we're all into it.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Oh,
a lot. The fact that they can turn people and not remember that Rusev was America hating when he was the U.S. champion before. Now he's American loving, and he's dropping all these like pop culture references and all that kind of stuff. It's great. I love it. It's great. It's great. Like you said, the Nakamura thing, I also think that he's best in the chase.
Yeah.
Petty Nakamura is great.
Oh,
he's so petty. He's great. I like that. I also thought though the Lana stuff was interesting because I wonder like where they're going with it. Mm-hmm. I didn't dislike it at all. Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, like I was trying to like think about it when I was watching it, and I was thinking to myself, well, like it's clear they're trying to get Rusev over as a big babyface, and he didn't hit his wife. He was
no.
But I understand that
was there clamor about that online?
No. But I was thinking about watching it. I go like, well, I mean, technically he caused his wife to be hurt, so that's like what you'd think a bad guy would do. But he was trying to just take Nakamura. But like, wouldn't he have seen the big blonde hair hanging over Nakamura's face? Like, there was a lot of like, I was kind of like back and forth with it. But at the end of the day, like, he's going to be defending the honor of his beautiful wife. Yeah. And that's how you get over as a babyface. So I think at the end of the day, it was effective in where it's going to lead towards. Because really, they need to get Rusev over as like a massive babyface. And I think that, sometimes Lana, because people like to hate Lana, stifles that a little bit on the babyface side of things. Yeah. But things like this, to me, help the audience now. Like, well, we can't hate on Lana. She just got hurt. Like, like she just.
But here's the thing: Lana is better as a heel.
Of course, she is.
She's just great as a heel. Her natural instincts. Look, you watch people long enough in this business, you know where they're best served, right? AJ's a good heel. He's a better face.
Of course,
Lana can be a good face. way better heel.
Of course.
Way more, and she seems to enjoy being a heel more than a face.
Well,
some of her promos are better. Some of her interactions are funnier. I think she has to turn on Rusev. And this is what concerns me too, dude, is like they have such a tight romance or tight connection that sometimes they don't go along with the storylines, man.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because you can't have people dictating creative what they're going to do. You're signing the contracts. I tell you what to do. And so to me, that frustrates me a little bit. Lana has to turn on him eventually.
See, eventually, maybe.
But I don't know who she would turn on him for.
I don't think she has to turn on him. I think this is kind of how I've looked at it. To me, it seems like they're purposely silencing Lana because they know that she gets heel heat.
Oh, I see.
So what they're doing is keeping her like, yeah, she's beautiful. She's
I was wondering why she hasn't talked more.
It seems to me like they're keeping her silent
because they're
it's
really
like
pushing her.
Rusev's beautiful arm candy,
right?
Because they know that if she talks, she might get booed a little bit because people like to boo Lana.
Yeah.
Like she was booed on. She has tons of heat. Like like with the audience, like people like to boo her, even though she's good with people like cheer as well.
Yeah, of course.
She's a great heel, and I think that he is getting so over on the mic with the Rusev Day stuff and all that I think they're purposely keeping her quiet so that one day when they want to turn the tide on being a heel again, it won't be totally counteractive or just contradictive to what we've seen on television the past, like, let's say, year or so or whatever, a few years while they're face. If she's just quiet, his kind of arm candy, but she secretly hated all this America stuff that he's been doing the whole time, and then she can kind of like use that as like you've become soft, Rusev. Like, I need you to crush again. Like, that'll be great. Everyone will love it.
That would be good too, yeah.
So I think that's really, to me, that's how it seems. Like, it seems like they're purposely kind of like trying to make her like damsel in distress. Like beautiful arm candy, Miss Elizabeth type thing, and less like mean presence as his manager. That's how it feels to me, at least.
No, I agree with you, and it's a weird. I get why they're doing it, but it's still because they were pushing her so much and she was wrestling and they were trying to. She's on her and him have great Total Divas stuff that they do. They've shown clips of that, and so it's just it's surprising me that they're going this route. But I get it for now, but eventually. She's gonna have to break out because she's a star, man. She's a star on her own. She doesn't need Rusev to be a star.
That's true.
And so to me, I think eventually she will have to kind of forge her own path at some point, And we were talking, and she's not getting more reps. Not wrestling in the ring, and we're trying. And she's, the big push there was trying to get her better in the ring. And so if she's not wrestling more, even if she's doing dark shows or you're not getting the same exposure with fans, the timing, all that jazz, TV timing as well. There's a lot that gets lost when you're not actually doing it week to week to week. So that worries me about her development. That's pushing it back a little bit.
I do almost wonder, though, and tell me what here on this topic. I almost think that she started to overshadow Rusev a little bit at that time. And I kind of feel like they're trying to kind of pull back on that.
Well, they shouldn't.
But I almost feel like
let them both have their own.
Well, and I think it goes back to the keeping her quiet thing. Like, I don't think they're messing with her heat at all. If anything, I think Vince is focused on trying to make Rusev the best babyface possible right now. And I do think that he likes Lana and he doesn't want to just like cast her aside. So I think that it kind of like they work in conjunction together. And I like it. I think that, I wouldn't mind seeing Lana do more or whatever, but like.
But wouldn't she, if she turns on him, that makes him even more of a baby's face, right? Being turned on by the beautiful blonde who was supposedly, and then she picks someone else. You have her manage someone else who's a heel wrestler against Rusev.
I only feel like they could do that if they had like a really dope Russian wrestler in the wings.
Fair.
I feel like it can't be with someone who's already on the roster. It would have to be like she found a new young Russian stud.
Lars.
He's not Russian.
I don't care. Neither is she. I'm sure he could do a Russian accent half the time and half the time not. Anyway, all right.
Neither is she.
Naomi and Sonya Deville. This was a weird little situation here. Naomi came out originally against Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose, I can't. Corey Graves puts my feelings into words all the time about Mandy Rose. That woman is absolutely gorgeous. She comes down.
That was great. This thing. Why? She knows my Twitter handle. Why is she sending me those kinds of messages or whatever? That was great.
That's great. But she comes out and she's going to fight Naomi. Naomi does her whole intro and stuff, but it ends up being Sonya Deville. And so they go at it for a little, which is weird, kind of change in the format. But then Mandy interrupts the match to say that she sent this picture to Naomi's husband, who we know is Jimmy Uso, and that causes Sonya to come in and get the victory with a weird finisher.
Also, It's a picture of her in a towel.
It's a picture of her in a towel, right? Lifting the towel slightly on her left leg. Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't just me who thought that with the finisher, right?
Oh, the finisher looked like a DDT from Naomi.
She DDT'd herself,
yeah, it
right?
looked like she DDT'd herself.
I thought
Sonya
the same thing.
DDT'd
Well, because the
herself.
move I've seen
weird.
that is a move.
Yeah, of
but
course.
But your head is supposed to get out at the last minute so that it looks like like Matt Hardy used to do the side effect, where it's like the rock bottom, but you land like on your butt type thing.
Right.
That's how that move is supposed to end. Like you pick him up for a suplex. And then you go forward and you land on your butt.
Yeah.
But she definitely 100% DDT'd herself.
Yes.
And I saw people giving love to that move on Twitter, and I was very confused because I was like, that looked like she DDT'd herself.
Yep.
Was not cool looking.
Yeah.
Super not cool looking. But I will say I liked her viciousness in the ring this week.
I'm becoming so happy with how Sonya is developing in the ring.
Yeah.
And I like that Naomi is not just getting beat like she was getting beat by the Iconics. This is more believable because you have a wrestler who is who's building herself up and having some good moves in the ring. Mm-hmm. And so to me this is good the way it's going. I like this feud. It helps both of them out.
Yep.
It puts Naomi back front and center in front of the fans and make her face Naomi, and you get to push Sonya and Mandy Rose at the same time. They're a great partnership as well. So that all of it around, I like it.
I also loved on last week's SmackDown when Mandy was flirting with Jimmy, and then Naomi came right in and she threw her shoe at Mandy.
Yeah.
That cracked me up. It reminded me of Austin Powers when he's like, "Who throws a shoe?" You know, like it cracked me up.
Well, every Latino knows what it means when you throw the shoe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're escaping your grandmother. Those chanclas.
No, I'm with you on this, and I think that everyone's gaining from this.
Yeah.
I like when there's meaningful things happening on the undercard, not just throwaway matches.
Yeah.
So, kind of similar to what I said about Joe and Jeff. Like, I feel like there's not new stakes being thrown in there, and I like that with there's still it might not be a pay-per-view feud. It's not but it's something that they're at least making meaningful use out of television time to help elevate characters, and I think that's very important.
Agreed.
Regardless of DDTing yourself.
Yeah.
And Mandy's really coming out strong here. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the segment. I thought it was good. I did think I like how first of all, Jimmy would have told Naomi. Told Naomi if she sent that.
Right.
And I like that was the risque picture of just like her in a towel.
Yeah.
Not that risque.
In 2019.
Exactly.
There's so much worse being sent.
But I mean, any picture Mandy sending anyone is probably cool. So
Oh, it's fair. Like Corey Graves said, I would love her to follow me and send me things like that. All right, let's get to the coup de grace this week, and that is John Cena and Becky Lynch versus Cien Almas and Zelina Vega. I didn't see this coming at all. This was incredible. Becky coming out, going back and forth with John. And kudos to Cena. Look, you want to bash Cena all you want. I get it. I used to bash Cena, used to hate him. But you, as an observer, you objective observer of professional wrestling, this was genius of John to put Becky over. This puts Becky over. You have someone like Cena. He's willing to get made fun of. He's willing to go with the crowd, and then willing to have Becky kind of push him out of the ring and do whatever and get the armbar. This helps Becky all around. And Becky was playing to the fans this time. So more and more, she's becoming the Stone Cold type heel, face rather that people were talking about, or the tweener. And I enjoyed it with this. And you also get Cien Almas up against Cena. You get Zelina more FaceTime on TV. All great. All around, I enjoyed the hell out of this segment. And it shows you how the difference between SmackDown and Raw.
Do you feel like Becky Lynch held her own against John Cena too?
More than held her own.
Right?
More than held her own.
That's how I feel. Like, there are a lot of people. Where the
hell was this?
There are a lot of. Yeah, I was going to say, and there are a lot of people who I think we not only would happen with, but we've seen it happen with in the past where they're put up with the number one guy in the company, arguably.
The Rock has found himself wanting against Cena at times, promo to promo.
Yeah.
So to see Becky going back and forth was great.
But what I was gonna say is a lot of times you'll see someone like who isn't at that level.
Yeah.
Getting that chance finally, and then they get there, and it's like they didn't step up. They didn't step up. They if anything, they kind of like showed where they are at. And that doesn't happen. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but you've seen it. You've seen it when someone gets up to like. They're getting the ball. They're like the ball's slowly being kicked over to them, and they're like, what are you gonna do with it?" And like Becky just like knocked it out of the park here. I mean, she just knocked it out of the park. I mean, like you said, it was very Stone Cold-esque where playing to the crowd, but also being a total dick, but in like a cool way. The fact that she was like, I wasn't talking just about Charlotte on the posters. I was talking about you too. You're like, oh, damn. Yeah. Like, Becky's serious, you know? And honestly, that kind of confidence is just like, it's what wrestlers need to have. I mean, Becky really is going out there, and obviously these things are written for her, whatever. Sure. But you got to have some freaking balls to have to say stuff like that with confidence on television. Maybe not live this time, but it's in a live setting. Like there's a lot of people watching you, and yeah, I mean, like the Nikki Bella line knocked it out of the park. God. You know, the I was coming for you too type stuff. I mean, all that just played so well. Being there in the ring with, the top guy of the past, 10 or so years in WWE longer, like that's a huge deal, and she really did own it. Like I also, we talked about Almas and we talked about, we talked about if he, if him losing and in the way he has been, or him being kind of like used in the way he's been is kind of bad for his career, but I don't think it is. Like, he's only in there with top talent right now. True. He's really, he had Sin Cara to start, but they've really been only using him with top talent, and regardless win or lose, that's good for him.
He's getting to show his skills.
Getting to show his skills.
What he can do with these guys.
They're getting that character over. Yep. They're introducing him to, they're making the people dislike him more and more. Those are all important things. You know, Zelina Vega's killing it.
She really is.
She's like, the fact that she's doing moves on Cena is a huge, is crazy considering she's like 5 feet tall or whatever, and all that. So, yeah, I loved this segment. I really felt like not only was it awesome seeing Becky Lynch do that, but like even the match itself with Becky and John, where she was kind of like slapping him in the chest and she didn't like, even during the match when he does like the you can't see me or whatever, the 5-knuckle shuffle, and then when he does it, he looked at her like into the you can't see me thing. Because in the spoilers, you didn't really necessarily see why she didn't accept his handshake into the you can't see me afterwards. But like, I liked that it all made sense in terms of the match and how it ended, because like when he was doing it, he looked at her and said, you can't see me. And then she said, bitch, I can see you, tossed him out of the ring, and then won the match for the team. Like, I thought that was great. I was like, man, that's how you are that's maybe not necessarily like the torch being passed, but that's as good as you can get it in terms of like a male and a female. Like, I think Cena put her over hard there.
Cena put her over hard.
Yeah, big time. I mean, even the fact that like he got over that she threw him out of the ring and offered the handshake, and she still said no. That was like a Stone Cold flipping someone off type move. Like, I mean, you can't. I mean, like, I get it. Like, it's just like the women have largely been booked to not do stuff like that. Like, you don't ever see like, if John Cena offered like a Kelly a handshake, she's not gonna like, so it's cool. It's cool to see like badasses like being badass, and so I loved this segment so much, and I think that it really showed that Becky Lynch is the star of SmackDown now.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and you mentioned your girlfriend all the time watch some of this stuff. My girlfriend does not like to watch this stuff. She hates professional wrestling. She's not a fan of it. She thinks the women now are dressed like, at times, they're not dressed in a way that she finds engaging. But she likes Becky Lynch. She likes the way Becky Lynch looks. Because Becky doesn't come out there to train on her looks. Becky comes out there to fight. She's a beautiful woman.
Yes.
She comes out there to fight. She wears the shorts. She does wear those, the fishnets or whatever. She wears the hose. Like, they all wear that stuff. But, like, her look, her approach is completely different. She's turning in on her mic skills and her abilities in the ring. And that is fun to watch. And she stopped and she watched. She goes, okay, that one's good. And I was like, all right,
that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's pretty rad. I like when moments like that happen, where like someone who doesn't like wrestling sees something like that, that everybody is interested, that is the wrestling audience is liking, and then you see someone who doesn't like wrestling go like, hey, that's cool. That's important, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend from years ago, her favorite was CM Punk. Like, she didn't like anybody else but CM because of his tattoos and his pipe bomb or mind bomb, whatever, all that kind of stuff. She enjoyed that about him because he was so rebellious of what it was all about. So every once in a while they grab him. So
yeah, totally.
Anyway, all around I enjoyed this. Then we get the intro of AJ Styles. We get a little background about AJ. Oh wait, we should jump in and talk about this real quick. Related to this match here with Becky and so. There was a backstage promo with Asuka or scene with Asuka and Triple H talking about how she's come far.
Yep.
Who do you want to face? In steps Charlotte, looking like she wants it. Out of nowhere, Carmella. And Carmella
The return
of Carmella, which I liked. And the way it was done, because R2's not with her.
Yeah,
and
that's what I meant with the return
Exactly.
of return to the title scene. She's been gone.
And then Becky walks in. So this is interesting now. And to have Asuka hold up the title and whatever. Are we going to get a triple threat match between these ladies to see who's going to fight? Because remember, it leaked that it was supposed to be Becky and Asuka
Rumble.
But then that was all like weird. So
I still feel like we're going that way.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know, man. Like at the same time, like it makes sense to have Becky just win the Royal Rumble. So I guess you put her in both. I guess you can still have. That's what I feel. That's what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna have her. That's my guess.
Because Charlotte wants a piece of the pie too.
Yeah, I think that she ends up that Becky ends up getting the title shot at Rumble. She loses because of like Ronda again or something
or Charlotte,
and out of anger she enters herself in the Royal Rumble. She wins the Royal Rumble because then you think because everyone's like, what? Becky's not gonna be in the Rumble or whatever, and they're gonna be all mad. So then when her music does hit in the Rumble, you're like, they're gonna lose their minds, and Becky wins the Rumble and goes to wrestle Ronda Rousey.
Do you think they'll change her music eventually?
I thought that when she first turned heel.
I'm just saying because that's all stuff from when she first started, and there's connections to what she was before.
Yeah.
If she's new, if you go listen to the multiple iterations of The Rock's music, it has changed from the beginning to where it was to that last weird Hollywood one. But like, there's one quintessential one now, but. Back then, there's multiple changes to it. Now, Stone Cold stayed the same, but he was always that character.
I think there was like a little bit of change. There was a few changes. Remember, because they added like that wasn't there like a disturbed version for a minute that I hated?
Right.
I want to say there was another one too.
Like Taker's had American Badass, and he's had his regular one.
Yeah.
So I think Becky needs a new song. I don't know what it is, but I think Becky needs a new song.
The only thing I fear is that people do like that song.
Yeah.
The only thing I fear is that, like, what if she gets like a real shitty, like, Cesaro type theme song?
You gotta test that out too. Know for sure.
That's a tough one because that song doesn't piss people off.
Right.
So
right. That's a good point. Right.
I also liked about this segment. I liked that it was like Papa Triple H with all his women of NXT. It was like all the successful women of NXT. It was like Asuka, Charlotte, Becky, not Bayley and Sasha, obviously, but for the most part, it was like Papa Triple H and his ladies. I liked it, so that was cool.
Me too. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And another backstage segment here happened between AJ Styles and Vince last week.
Yeah.
Well, Vince taking the hit.
Forgot about that.
God love Vince for taking that hit. That was beautiful.
Was that segment last week?
I know it was weird. I guess they wanted to, once again, they want to change things. That's how you change it. You try something new. They wanted to bring out the real AJ Styles. Maybe they thought he's getting too comfortable, too soft, being the champion for so long. They needed to bring this part of him out. Vince caused him to punch, and Vince is happy on the ground. I love that shot. That's just, Vince loves getting punched. It's just great. And
I had two theories.
Okay.
Well, first theory is that it's much more simple. First theory is that they just wanted something big to end the show that wasn't part of the spoilers. Yeah. So that people would write stories on SmackDown during the holiday.
Good point.
My first theory. Okay. Less tinfoil hat theory was that one. Second theory is that I'm pretty sure AJ Styles' contract is up relatively soon.
Oh my.
I don't know the exacts, but I think I've heard that it's up relatively soon. I think that he had because I forget the exacts, but it's been like 3 years I think since he signed or something along those lines, and I think he signed a 3-year deal or something like that. For some reason, it got extended a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that's the rumor at least. I could see them trying to please AJ and make him think that he's even more of a valued commodity in WWE. Because only the most valued commodities in WWE, for the most part, attack Vince McMahon or have a feud with Vince McMahon. More so have a feud with Vince McMahon. So I could see them maybe like, well, what are we going to do with AJ at WrestleMania if he's not champion? He's been champion on SmackDown for however long. And we already did Shane versus AJ. Could do Vince versus AJ.
No.
That's what I'm worried they're gonna get. That they're building toward. That's my fear.
No.
Is that this is like they or like AJ and someone versus Vince and Shane or something like that at WrestleMania that they want like Vince in a match.
Oh my god.
At his age, I know it's scary to think. I know. But why else would you do that?
I guess.
What else are you building towards? Like, they don't want to turn AJ Styles heel, and you wouldn't really turn heel from beating up Vince McMahon anyways.
Yeah, right.
So, like...
Unless Vince is trying to turn him heel by bringing out this uglier side of him, this angrier side of him.
But like you said, it's such a weird Lana situation where like, you wouldn't want... Who wants heel AJ Styles? Like, nobody wants heel AJ Styles. Like, I don't think that... I just don't... We've had him for 4 years now. Like, I don't think that there is... I don't think he's going to have some like Becky Lynch revival by turning heel.
No, I agree with that.
He's already like one of the most popular people in the company. Yep. I don't think that he needs to turn heel. If anything, it's nice to have a little bit of one guy who's like a moral compass almost. And that kind of feels like that's what been AJ's role.
Yeah.
Is like good family man who fights for the title. I don't know if we need to see like AJ Styles who beats up old men.
Well, it's also confusing. Look, and you got to put this into context. So let's talk about the 5-way match here between AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Ali, and Samoa Joe. They went at it. Styles wins this thing. If what Vince is doing, and of course Shane confronting him in the back there was really funny too. But if what Vince is doing is bringing out this more animalistic, primal side of AJ. Who's the heel? Who's the face when he faces Daniel?
See, like exactly, like on Raw, when Triple H came out and did that with Seth Rollins, to me that made perfect sense. He has fallen away from what Triple H's Seth Rollins was when he was part of the Authority.
Right.
All that made sense, and also we all know that the dickhead Seth Rollins is the best Seth Rollins. We all know that. Mm-hmm. I watched Impact Wrestling when AJ was there.
Yeah.
I've seen heel AJ Styles. Heel AJ Styles is not as compelling. I remember when he bleached his hair like Ric Flair and all that stuff. I don't want to see that again. I don't need to see heel AJ Styles.
He doesn't have the rhythms down for a heel.
No, he's like a good guy.
Yeah,
he's like family guy. He plays video games and stuff like on. I know everyone's
He's a down-home country boy.
Yeah, he's a down-home country boy. Yeah. Like he plays well to every crowd. Yeah. I just don't think everyone's like clamoring for a heel turn from AJ Styles. So I don't really understand the point of beating up Vince McMahon. I actually the match at WrestleMania is a little bit tinfoil hatty, I know. Yeah. I do think the actual reasoning was strictly so that something would happen that would get people talking during the holidays when nobody's really talking about it because everyone was doing stuff with their families. So that's what I really think at the end of the day was the point of all of this.
Okay.
Because even this week, I mean, this week's match, or sorry, not the match, when he kind of like went in and talked to Vince and Shane for a second, there wasn't really that much follow-up to it.
Yeah.
It was like he came in and was like, I'll do it again. And they were like, no, you won't. And then he was like, yeah, I like that. And they walked away. Like, it was like you'd think if someone just punched you in the face and knocked you out, especially your boss, he'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I was trying not to say the F word today. I did it. But he'd be pissed. He'd be pissed,
2 days, 2 days into his resolutions, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's not a full resolution, but I'm just trying to get better at it. I should probably not cuss as much on here so that little kids that listen. I want to be a better role model. I want to tell you, say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
I'll be the heel. You be the face. I'll be the heel.
But yeah. So
go smoke, kids. There we go.
I didn't understand the point of it. I don't think the punch didn't really add anything. I will say this though, the match this week that was the main event.
Oh,
great match.
Such a good match.
Good match. It's cool. It was interesting to see Randy Orton in there with those guys. He was like the one kind of like that you wouldn't. The one that didn't fit when you list all those names together. Rey Mysterio,
even
AJ
though Rey's
Styles.
the oldest wrestler in there.
So not even age-wise, just more style than anything. Like Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, Mustafa Ali, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. And Randy Orton's smooth, but I think that like a lot of those guys, are known for
high
flying, fancy kind of things, and you got Randy Orton
even
in
Samoa,
there. Yeah. So but he fit in there perfectly.
He really did.
He meshed with all of them well. It was cool to see Mustafa Ali and Rey Mysterio mix it up.
That was great.
It was cool to see more Samoa Joe, AJ Styles again. Just Mustafa Ali in general. It's cool having him in the main event mix right now. I think it was rad having that. I think he took the RKO as well, and he looked crisp. You could tell like he's excited to be taking these legendary moves. He's like, "What? You guys want me to in this 5-way? Cool, So like, you could tell like he's coming to play. He's coming to show himself off, and I like that a lot. I'm super into that.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. All the different styles. It felt like a ladder match without a ladder in it.
Yeah, totally.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, totally.
They toss the switch and turns, and you needed that. And if this My God, if this, if there's any way to put Mustafa in a WrestleMania match like this, like an ensemble piece, that would be fantastic to watch because he shines. Because and I say this, the mark of a good wrestler is being able to have chemistry with multiple different styles of wrestlers. And seeing him play off Ray's style versus Samoa's style versus Orton's style versus AJ's style, that was great. It was so much fun to see how adaptable he is. And so to me, this made me look forward to any match he'll be involved in going forward that is a group match as well. That excites me.
Absolutely. I also, while watching this match, thought to myself, like, they need to, like, and I haven't fully formed this thought yet, but it's been lingering since I watched this match, but, like, they need to do, like, some kind of, like, fun, like, 205 Live related thing where, like, not put Rey Mysterio on 205 Live permanently, but it'd be cool if they did, like, a special month or something where, like, man, it's gotta be a little longer than a month. Some kind of special with Rey Mysterio to where the main event of 205 Live every week is going to be Rey Mysterio versus like all these cruiserweights.
Oh, yeah.
Like Rey Mysterio versus Cedric Alexander. Rey Mysterio versus, just all the guys on 205 Live just one by one. I feel like there'd be solid main events and it would get people to kind of like go over to watch 205 Live that have maybe tuned out of it or whatever. Like you'd watch 205 Live for that.
Sure.
Like if it was going to be Rey Mysterio, if you heard there was like some stellar match in Rey Mysterio and Cedric Alexander or any of those guys, I just think that'd be cool if they could find a way to like do special Rey Mysterio matches on 205 Live that they promote. That'd be cool.
I'd be down with that. Absolutely. So it's going to be AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan now for the title.
Yeah, and Daniel Bryan has to keep the title. There's no way, right?
I really don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, I love what they've been doing with Daniel Bryan. So you imagine so because AJ had it for so long. It'd be weird to give it to him and then have him lose it again. That would be strange. But I guess what you do now, and I hear your theories about this thing with AJ. But short term, it builds up the match. You get this idea of like, well, what AJ are we going to get? Like, what's going to happen?
Unpredictable AJ.
Yeah, unpredictable AJ. So you get at least that element going into this match. You're not sure what's going to happen. So, and I'm sure they'll keep pushing that forward before we get to WrestleMania. On the road to Royal Rumble. Before we get to on the road to WrestleMania, before we get to Royal Rumble. But I think they'll be pushing that all the way up to the Royal Rumble and see what. So you don't know what you're going to get, and maybe that unsettles Daniel Bryan. That wait, I thought I was the one that was shocking people. Now I don't know what to do with this guy who is unpredictable. So that's a lot of fun to see what match you'll get. So
yeah, no, I like that. Who do you at this early stage?
Yeah.
Who do you foresee winning the Royal Rumble?
Of the competitors?
Yeah. Men's and women's.
The Rumble.
Yeah.
I agree with you on Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch for women's
Becky
Rumble.
Lynch will win the Royal Rumble. Unless she beats Asuka for the title, then Charlotte will win the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Then it could be anything at WrestleMania.
Okay.
It could be anything at WrestleMania.
Okay.
With the man... Oh. We already did Strowman with the Money in the Bank. So that would be weird if he won.
McIntyre? And he's wrestling
McIntyre.
Brock. You think McIntyre?
McIntyre could win it.
I'm thinking Seth might win it.
You think Seth? Yeah, they've been kind of laying the groundwork for Seth.
They have.
Yeah.
I could see Seth winning it. I feel like Seth.
Maybe Seth versus McIntyre at the end.
And we kind of talked about it recently where it was like maybe they're getting title off him to get him back in the main event picture.
Yep.
And then this week on Raw with the Triple H saying like I want that one back.
Yeah.
That one main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So like I think that like that's my guess right now. I think Seth Rollins.
Seth and Lesnar at WrestleMania.
Seth Lesnar, Becky versus Ronda, ending the show.
Oh damn!
That's my guess.
It's a good WrestleMania.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Glad I'm on the road to it. All right, anyway, there you go. That's the Collider Body Slam SmackDown Live recap. Let us know what you thought in the comments section below, as always. And Ryan, tell people where they can follow us.
ProWrestlingSheet.com, at Wrestling Sheet on social media, YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can watch the video of us. That's where you can watch Wrestling Sheet Radio as well every week and other various videos that I'm posting on our video page. So check that out. Also, if you just want to listen to the audio every week, check out Podcast One. You can subscribe via iTunes and just search for the Wrestling Sheet Radio feed. You don't have to put feed. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio. It'll come up. You subscribe there. You get the weekly recaps between Rocha and myself. Now that we're back, Wrestling Sheet Radio and some other stuff that I'll be working on that I'll hopefully have out there in the new year. So make sure you guys follow us there.
There you go. All right, and you can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And yeah, let's talk wrestling. Let's talk Mean Gene. Let's talk all the stuff that's happening. Do you think I'm insane? Do you think I'm right? Let's keep doing it. And all Elite Wrestling, we're watching. We're definitely going to watch and see what happens. You're certainly monitoring it, for Pro Wrestling Sheet. But as a fan sitting back, I'm excited for this to see what can happen because any new promotions that come up with this kind of pedigree could be a lot of fun to watch. And it'll certainly motivate WWE to get even better. So that's always a good thing. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching this week. We'll be back next week with Collider Body Slam Raw recap. Have a good weekend.
ProWrestlingSheet.com